messy room. It's Pop-O-Holics, the show about hot takes hotter than hot, tasty pancakes. I'm your host, Christian Katie, and I'm joined, as always, by my friend, the Shocker 6969 420 lols and Taco Bell diarrhea. What's going on there?
Wow. Okay. Welcome to the show. Christian has taken over the naming conventions here.
Interesting. Well, welcome to Pop-O-Holics. What are we doing here? Well, we're a bunch of wacky hosts. I'm just Christian, the host, as you can see by my name. And I got a couple of colorful characters. Want to introduce your real name? Stop clowning around, boys.
I'm Chris Conkling.
And Brian Dupree.
I feel like I'm gonna be a huge troll tonight. This is not gonna be good. I'm gonna
yeah,
troll.
Christian's in a mood, apparently.
I'm gonna
Like a gremlin. Ooh.
What do we do on this show? Well, we're up to nothing but shenanigans. For our YouTube watchers, we go over Brian's Wacky News Corner. Brian brings us the latest in pop culture news. Got a lot coming up to discuss. We got the new No Way Home trailer. We're going to talk about some Netflix news, some new Marvel games, and announcements of upcoming content. And then for our audio feed listeners exclusively, to tap into that audio feed, we got a link tree down below that'll link you to your favorite podcast player. For our audio listeners exclusively, we talk about what we've been consuming, and that is the season 8, episodes 1 through 4, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Chris has been watching, The Night House, Reminiscence, it's on HBO Max. I'm going to be talking about some niche musical documentary and a stupid Marvel mobile game that no one's playing. So a lot of exciting stuff and our community feedback, as always. So before we delay no further, we will delay no further is what's going to happen. Let's dive into Brian's Wacky News Corner.
Welcome back to the Wacky News Corner, everyone. As Christian mentioned, the long-awaited first trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home has finally dropped and confirmed a handful of things that people have been wildly speculating about for what feels like a year now. So this is the third in the Spider-Man trilogy directed by John Watts, written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, and stars Tom Holland as Peter Parker Spider-Man, Zendaya, Benedict Cumberbatch, Jon Favreau, Jacob Batalon, Marissa Tomei, and many more. And I want to say up front here, before we start diving into this trailer, I think we may want to do a little bit of a spoiler bumper because there are some reveals here that some people may not want to know about prior to going into this movie. So fast forward 2 or 3 minutes while we discuss this. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Chris, we need a graphic for that. Thanks.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah. Thanks, Wade. Thank you.
So yeah, a couple big reveals here. We have seen the return of Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus and basically gotten the frame story for how this request from Peter Parker to Doctor Strange to reverse the course of what happened at the end of the previous movie where everyone found out that he was Spider-Man. And in the interim, he realizes the implications of this, those that he loves and has told will forget, and things go awry. And we're introduced to the multiverse in some capacity. So, Chris, I'm going to let you start here. I know you're super hyped and have been paying very close attention to this. So how did you feel about this trailer finally?
Brian, I texted you guys and said that I was crying nerd tears of joy when I finally saw the trailer. And I want to start by saying this. About a year ago on the podcast, I went on record saying that I really want a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie that focuses more on Tom Holland as Spider-Man. More in line with like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. You know, it's just
you mean
Spidey.
With 3 other movies thrown in, of course, as well, right?
Yeah, of course.
You mean not only having to account for the MCU.
When Sony saw that episode, they were like,
also,
we got you. We know what you want.
What we're going to do is
we're just going to put everything in the kitchen sink into
not
this
only
movie.
the MCU, we're going to take in both Sony verses and actually
the trilogy double-decker that we're just putting it all in.
Yeah.
It is actually the third movie in this series, the third movie in the previous series, and the fourth movie in the series before that.
Right. And I feel like that's exactly what I was talking about, right? When I mentioned this a year ago. No, it's not exactly what I was wanting, but I have to say, like, as a fan of the MCU, a fan of Tom Holland as Spider-Man, a huge fan of Alfred Molina's Doc Ock.
Huge fan of
very
Electro.
Excited. Yeah, I'm very excited about this movie. So the trailer beat out Endgame within the first 24 hours as far as number of views. Endgame clocked in, I think, at about 289 million views when that trailer was first released. Spider-Man is over 300 million views in that first 24-hour period. So it's insane to think that a movie that we spent a decade waiting for and building up to, this is going to beat that movie in terms of the hype train and like how excited people are for this movie. But I have to say, like, I think the hype is warranted considering what we saw in the film. I'm excited to see all of this multiverse bending stuff with Doctor Strange. There are a lot of really fun arcs in the comic books that revolve around Peter interacting with Doctor Strange and multiverse stuff and time warping stuff. So I'm excited to maybe see them take some of those things and adapt them to screen. The tease that we're potentially getting Willem Dafoe back as the Green Goblin.
That laugh.
Oh my God. The pumpkin. I was by myself watching this trailer, and when the pumpkin bomb dropped and you heard Willem Dafoe's laugh, I said, oh my God. And truth be told, I already knew that was going to be in the trailer, but seeing it in person, there's a difference. You know, I'm really deep in spoiler culture. I try not to ruin things for the boys here, but I know a lot about what's going to be in this movie. But still, seeing it in motion for the first time in the trailer, it's just a different experience. And I've talked long enough about a 2-minute trailer. I'm fucking hyped. Can't wait to see the movie. How do you guys feel about it?
Well, I watched the trailer. I did. I'm not
Shocking.
Surprised you did, actually. Wow.
Well, because I already had been spoiled so much on what all the rumors and stuff, so I figured
casting announcements that happened for this as well.
Right.
So it was heavily, yeah.
It all sounds very silly. This movie looks like a mess. I'm very excited. I want to preface this. I don't want to be a doubter, but this movie looks like a clusterfuck. They have to fix like the fundamental problem of the movie, which is twofold, which is when did Doctor Strange like lose his mind? Because it's like I want the collective consciousness to all forget something and the implications behind that.
Dude, there's a rumor right now. Like, people, you're not alone in wondering what's going on with Doctor Strange.
You know they want it to be Mephisto.
But there's a rumor that, like, maybe that's not Doctor Strange, or maybe it's, like, the dark Doctor Strange that we're going to be getting in What If coming up here shortly.
Yeah,
so
it would have
not alone, and everyone just being like, what the fuck is wrong with Doctor Strange?
So they've got to
he
solve
saved
that
the
problem.
universe, and now he's just like, anything goes. I don't care anymore.
In the immediate aftermath, which I know Marvel is smart enough to do this, but you got to imagine that after Doctor Strange cast that spell, he has no idea who's in front of him. And it's like, what are you doing in my Sanctum Sanctorum?
I would guess that he's smart enough that anyone within the circle of the spell isn't affected.
That's a good.
It's like in Men in Black. They wear the glasses to avoid the neuralizer.
He was wearing the Men in Black
wearing
glasses.
the shades. Yeah.
No, but just some of my opinions. You know, it looks like a clusterfuck, and if they can pull it off, it'll be amazing. But it's like, who's the bet? I don't know. I have so many questions, and it looks CG. It looks so. It's all the problems that I've had with all these Spider-Man and everything.
Dr. Trains in the Multiverse of Madness.
We are not gonna get real. Clippers, you know, it's just not gonna have that magic. Everything about Peter was. There was not a. And it's been the same with all these movies. There's no Peter Parker in a Spider-Man outfit. It's all CG Spider-Man, and I'm just like, I was not a fan of the last one that much. With some cool things about it, but this is, sorry, I don't want to be a downer. But
It's scary, you know. Sony's track record in terms of sequel Spider-Man movies is they get overexcited and overzealous and try to pack too much into one thing and end up ruining movies like Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. So I'm also kind of cautiously optimistic like you, Christian, but I mean, I was so excited to see that trailer. And in terms of who the villains are going to be, in the trailer, eagle-eyed fans will notice that we have almost a full Sinister Six ready for us in that movie.
All right, break it down for us, Chris.
So do you want me to... So we have Doc Ock, we have Green Goblin, we have Electro, we have Sandman, and we have Lizard. We got 5. So
and
we're just missing a
Vulture
6th member.
from the previous one, and possibly
Could be
Scorpion.
Vulture, could be Scorpion. Mysterio might not be dead. So there are plenty of MCU characters that could fill that 6th slot. But I really do think that it's going to be a Sinister Six story. But we'll see when the movie comes out.
That's okay.
Brian,
Spider-Man
how did you feel about this trailer?
his nano spider suit and blast him with nano spider webs, and it's going to be so fun.
So for this flick, Tom, we're not going to put you in a spider suit ever. We're just going to CG every spider suit onto you. Are you okay with that?
I'm
Brian, how'd you feel?
cautiously optimistic. I don't think I'm as hyped as some people are, but I'm here for the universe bending. That obviously big fan of Into the Spider-Verse. It can be done well, so I'm hopeful. But yeah, definitely time will tell how it actually plays out. So yeah, check out that trailer for Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Can I say on record here that we're going to do a Spidey December Part 2 this coming Christmas?
Chris has maybe strong-armed Spidey December a little bit, but it's very possible. Yeah.
We'll
What
see.
about
We'll
a
see what happens.
Spider Dismemberment month, where
If the
we
movies, I mean,
Sounds
a
a
lot
little
of the
darker.
movies that we haven't talked about yet are kind of shitty. So
December
we can call it
1st,
that.
Along Came a Spider, starring Morgan Freeman. Second one, Eight-Legged Freak, starring David Arquette.
All Spider
Charlotte's
movies that
Web.
have nothing to do with Spider-Man.
We just nailed it. That's going to be the month. Call it.
So yeah, that's the first trailer for Spider-Man: No Way Home. Next is some Netflix news. They have announced a new fan event that, if you've heard the sound that Netflix starts with, this is the name of the event, and it's something like Tudum. Apparently,
I've
it's
never heard it spelled out
Tudum.
in
Yeah, I didn't realize
onomatopoeia
this. before. I didn't either, but yes, Tudum.
It's a
Tudum is
Sonic. I will
apparently.
say it's a Sonic masterpiece. It's the greatest. It's the greatest little jingle ever. I love it. I'm a big fan of the Netflix. Ta-dum. It's great.
Oh,
I mean,
it's-
you know what it is as soon as you
It's
hear
catchy. It's a hook right there. Yeah. So they have announced that this September 25th, they will be doing a global live stream event similar to kind of like an E3 or Comic-Con releases or Disney's. I don't know all of the names for all of these live
DC
streams. they do.
fandom,
DC fandom,
D23.
exactly. They are dipping their toe into this live stream event to kind of premiere some snippets from their content, and they are going to show things from 70 different shows here, some of which are Stranger Things, Bridgerton, The Witcher, La Casa de Papel, and Cobra Kai, as well as many others. This seems like it was only a matter of time with the amount of Netflix content that has been consistently being produced. And they obviously do some advertising, maybe not nearly to the levels of some of the bigger studios. So in terms of generating some hype online, this seems to make a lot of sense for me. And I'm not sure if I'll watch it live, but I'll definitely be tuning in to some of the reveals here. Do you guys think this will play out well for Netflix?
Yeah, I think it's in line with what everyone else is doing. Where we're now in a world where these media companies are no longer going to Comic-Con, or at least a year ago they didn't go to Comic-Con because of the pandemic. And traditionally, that's a place where these companies share what's being released over the course of the next year. So considering that Marvel didn't go to Comic-Con or doesn't plan on going to the smaller Comic-Con this year, DC's having a second fandom this year, it makes
that's right.
sense that Netflix goes and like, you know what, we're just going to have our own virtual convention. We'll share what's coming out in the coming year and try to get people excited about it. So I think this is a good move for them. And it's also safer this way, you know?
Oh yeah, 100%. And they're also dipping their toe into gaming. I know they got a couple Stranger Things games they've already made, as well as some mobile ones that are in the works and will be coming out soon as well. So yeah, they're definitely doing a lot of things. Christian, how do you feel about Tudum?
Ta-dum.
Ta-dum.
Yeah, you kind of stole my point. My point was going to be on how it's very much in line with other game companies, Nintendo Direct and PlayStation. PlayStation Play Dates.
State of Play.
Whatever the hell I call it. So maybe gearing them
I
up.
think that's a conspiracy thriller from 1998. Sorry.
No, it's a zinger. So this seems like they're ramping up for that style thing. So you guys have hit all the points. I think it's a smart move, and they'll probably have like some secret project that's not even close to being done that they like tease. Probably video game related that gets a lot of buzz online. So I'm calling it right now. We're gonna get some tease to some video game franchise that they haven't even thought about the first sentence in the script, but they have the rights to, and they have every intention of making.
Maybe they have a logo.
Logo would be
You heard
nice.
it here. You heard it here. Netflix going to spill all the teas at Tudum next month on the 25th.
It's going to be... We've spilled all our teas. They're everywhere.
So I know, Christian, you'll definitely have a bit more to say about the next topic. We've got Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is the next game from lead developer Jake Solomon, who designed XCOM Enemy Unknown and XCOM 2. So this is a turn-based role-playing game from Marvel that has a bunch of characters that have been confirmed by Firaxis, the company making it. We've got Iron Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Blade, Magic, Robbie Reyes, Wolverine, a total of 13 allied heroes, I guess. So I hadn't heard about this before you mentioned to bring this up in the news, Christian. So how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, so this was announced at Gamescom, which is that one dude who does the Game Awards show, Jeff Keighley. This was announced at his show. And a lot of cool announcement, but this one stuck out, especially because, we've talked on this show about Marvel's The Avengers, available like cross-platform, which is a huge kind of live service game. We've talked about Insomnia's Spider-Man series, including Miles Morales. And other than Spider-Man Miles Morales by Insomnia Games, there's a lot to be desired in a lot of Marvel stuff, but this gives me the most hope out of all of it. I'll be talking about another Marvel experiment on mobile later in the show. But this gives me a lot of hope. What's really cool is XCOM is an amazing tactics game. It's like one of my favorite tactics game. If you haven't played it, XCOM and XCOM 2, there's also a great... XCOM has been, I believe even the second one is on like iPad and tablets and stuff. And it's super great on a tablet, which is basically you have like characters in a mission, and it's like it's like an RPG mixed in with an RTS, but with kind of some other things at play. And it's really interesting. But from what I've heard, they've really flipped it. They're trying to flip it on its head and make it more offensive and make it more character based. So I think this is a great format for these characters. I also love seeing characters like Wolverine and some of the X-Men characters and other Marvel things that aren't associated with the Avengers come into play. So I feel like it's people that love this material, have a great knack for unique game design, and I think it fits these characters really well. So this is really exciting for me. I don't know much about the Midnight Suns as far as like a series. Like I'm pretty sure it's like a group of characters. What's really cool too is they're including like Brian, one of your favorites, Nicolas Cage's flaming skull guy, Ghost
Rider.
Ghost Rider, except this is Robbie Reyes, not Johnny Blaze.
Okay, Robbie Reyes,
different Ghost Rider.
One of the flaming skull guys, and then
I'm here for it still.
And then Blade, right? So we're getting, again, some of these more like supernatural Marvel characters. I think it has, and as well as Captain America and Iron Man and Wolverine. It's such a cool collection that we haven't seen in a game. And I really, really like this developer and know that it's going to be treated with care and know that it could potentially make it to a mobile platform very easily based on the type of game that it is. Chris, had you heard of this? And what do you think about Midnight Suns?
I hadn't heard of the game, but I'm going to be watching this very closely. The trailer was badass, and like you, Christian, it was very cool seeing the Midnight Suns getting some attention. I really like the not necessarily cosmic but more supernatural side of Marvel, and all these characters are really awesome. And then of course at the end of the trailer to see like Captain America and Wolverine and Iron Man decked out in kind of these like mystical Doctor Strange costumes was really cool. Now that being said, the trailer had zero gameplay in it. So that's why I said I'm going to be watching this very closely because I'm intrigued to see what gameplay looks like. I haven't played XCOM or XCOM 2, so
think of it like a tactics game.
I'm
it's
ready.
like Fire Emblem, but in 3D.
I was going to compare it to Fire Emblem. Okay,
yeah, like
like
Fire
that.
Emblem or
Great.
like Advanced Wars or any those types of games.
Which means we're going to get really dope moves that are like really seamless and look really cool.
I'm down for that. It sounds cool.
So yeah, that's it for news proper this week. Moving into some stuff that's coming out for you guys to watch. Starting with some TV. This Tuesday, coming to Hulu, we've got Only Murders in the Building. So this is created by Steve Martin and John Hoffman and stars Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, who share an obsession with true crime and suddenly find themselves involved in one. So little shout out to good friend of the pod, Vash. He actually worked on this show in some capacity in the location department. So
That's awesome.
This is one of the first things he worked on. He's recently gotten to a production career in filmmaking. And so yeah, shout out to Vash, super awesome. I'm definitely going to be checking this one out. Some big
Same.
names here.
What a strange, like, as you like, Martin Short, Steve Martin, Selena Gomez. It's like,
I know.
What?
It's the clash of generations. You got to, it's comedy gold there, Christian. Come on.
Martin Short and Steve Martin make sense. They've been touring together for several years at this point.
PB&J,
yeah,
one
that
might
Selena
say.
Gomez is interesting.
Peanut
But
butter jelly.
She looks great in the trailer. She looks like she's holding her own against some of the trailer, but it looks like it could be a fun time. So yeah, that'll be coming to Hulu this Tuesday, the 31st. Coming to FX this Wednesday, season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows is finally coming out. Yes. The first 2 seasons of this show, for those of you who don't know, this is the spin-off show from the 2014 mockumentary called What We Do in the Shadows. And this was created by Jermaine Clement and originally premiered in 2019. It stars 4 vampire roommates played by Kaven Novak, Matt Berry, Natasha Dimitru, and Harvey Guyen and Mark Proch. And this show is absolutely hilarious. I don't know how much to say about it. It's a office style comedy starring vampires. They speak to camera. There's a documentary crew following them. And if you're in for this type of dry, ridiculous comedy, over the top characters, there's not much better on television right now, in my opinion, than What We Do in the Shadows.
Completely agree.
So yeah, that'll be coming to starting this Thursday on FX. Moving into some movies, something that we're actually covering on the podcast next week, if all goes well, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So, summary of this movie, for those of you who don't know, martial arts master Shang-Chi confronts the past he thought he left behind when he's drawn into the web of the mysterious Ten Rings organization. So, this is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton and written by him, as well as Dave Callahan and Andrew Lanham, and stars Simu Liu as the titular Shang-Chi, as well as Awkwafina and many others. And there's been a lot of hype for this movie. I know reviews have started coming out about it, and it's gotten really high praise. So I always try and temper my expectations with these movies because there's a lot of huge praise every time a new Marvel movie comes out. But I have high hopes for this one. I'm going to say I'm super excited for Shang-Chi coming out theaters only, unfortunately, at this point, this Friday.
What an adventure it's going to be. I have, side note, I have D-box seats in the dirtiest theater in town in Florida during the worst that the pandemic has ever been.
You're going to be Shake-Chi.
I'm going to be...
I should leave. Oh God, that's horrible.
Oh, no.
Anyways, so I might show up at the theater and be like, boys, you're going solo on this review. We'll see. We'll see what it has in store. They say
just wear a mask, get like a screen guard so when the water sprays you, it's not just like shooting you with COVID right in the face.
Oh my God. Yeah, probably shouldn't be doing that during the pandemic, the water spraying. But yeah, that's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings that's coming out this Friday to theaters. Moving into some stuff that you can watch from home, we have yet another adaptation, a live action adaptation, Cinderella. Of Cinderella coming to Amazon Prime. So this is written and directed by Kay Cannon and stars singer Camila Cabello as the titular Cinderella, as well as Idina Menzel, Minnie Driver, and many others. This is a classic story that everyone's heard a million times. In this version, Cinderella has dreams of becoming a seamstress, and she wants to start her own company and make dresses. And it's the Cinderella story. It seems pretty cut and dry. She's got the evil aunt played by the wonderful Idina Menzel. And this is not very much up my alley, but it might be a good family movie night.
Why
so
doesn't she make
I may end up
shoes?
checking this out.
I feel like this is a good modern take. She makes sneakers, you know? I don't know. I feel like this is a company. I mean, they've
big into Crocs.
There's been plenty of, and it fit just right. There's been plenty of live action, fairy tale stuff, especially from Disney's side. And maybe they were like, they don't own Cinderella. Let's just let's do it up.
True.
Let's beat them to it. But there's been a ton of live Cinderellas. I'm not sure.
I mean, Disney made one,
70s.
a decade ago at this point.
Oh,
It
did
seems
they-
like every 5 years or so there's a new one in some form.
The Cinderella film was one of their first animated adaptation live action movies.
I'm sick of all this talk with the women. Why don't we get a Cinderfella?
He would be a bricklayer. All right, so moving into yes,
Perfect.
the return. Oh, good.
Brian did it. He summoned the harmonica.
It was enough bad jokes. What happened to the other? It's like the harmonica has to come back now. That's appreciated. So yeah, that's
summer. She's a brick house. Cinderfella.
That's Cinderella coming to Prime Video this Friday. The last movie, straight out of Sundance, is coming to Netflix this Friday, and it's called Worth. So this follows lawyer Kenneth Feinberg, who battles cynicism, bureaucracy, and politics to help the victims of 9/11. I'm not sure ultimately how I feel about this movie after having watched the trailer. I'm interested to see how our main character is presented, because it's very much this very tragic story about assessing how much the people who lost their lives in 9/11 are worth in terms of a literal payout to their families. And they end up having to come up with an equation to do that with these people's lives, and just the complications of him having to interact with these families face to face, who are trying to get, compensated for this tragedy. And yeah, so this is directed by Sarah Colangelo, from a screenplay by Max Bornstein, and stars Michael Keaton, Amy Ryan, Stanley Tucci, Tate Donovan, and others. So Michael Keaton and Stanley Tucci, two heavy hitter actors that will probably make this worthwhile regardless of how it ends up being. But yeah, that's Worth. That'll be on Netflix this Friday. And that's it for the news this week, guys.
Brian, what an excellent and super wacky news corner, especially with that Cinderfella two-parter that we got going on. I mean, that's why this
Bang,
podcast
bang.
exists.
It's a layup. You gave him a layup.
That'll do it for the YouTube portion. Gentlemen, where can people find more of your work on the internet?
Loyal viewers and listeners, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Conkling, talking about all things nerdy, comic books, television, movies, video games, collectibles. If it's nerdy, I'm talking about it.
And if you like any of these terrible dad jokes and puns, you can find me at True Pop-O-Holic.
And you can find me if you like the music in the show that is ripped out of the YouTube portion unceremoniously by one of the video editors of the show, who will remain nameless. You can find my band at Midnight Satire on all on streaming platforms. New music coming
Chris,
soon.
can you make a shameless self-plug graphic that we can show when Christian plugs his band?
This is the chance to plug our stuff.
Shameless self-plug.
Shame plug. Yeah, I want to hear Chris.
Shame, shelf plug. Sorry, we'll brainstorm it.
Brian and Chris will collab on.
I'm spicy
that
tonight. I'm sorry.
Piece of music for the show. But anyway, who cares? It's less than like a week. There's new music coming out. You should check it out.
It is very exciting. We're
It really
genuinely
is.
excited.
I'm super hyped. I'm going to be going wild on Twitter. I can tell you right now.
It's gonna be 9/10 is Midnight Satire Day. Mark it in your calendars. All right, so that's going to do it for this portion. If you want to hear the rest of the audio feed, follow the link in the show notes. That will take you to your favorite podcast player. But for now, bye.